Welcome to True Health Tuesday, and the truth will set you free. Now, let's get into it. Now, we're going to go over extreme insomnia and the natural solutions for it. Now, this was inspired by a question from Purple Lion Project. Quote, I have not slept in 20 years. In 2004, I stopped sleeping, and it's been complete hell. I literally have tried all natural remedies, traveled worldwide, sleep studies, shamans, spiritual healing centers. A strong tranquilizer is the only thing that will switch my sleep over. Chemically induced sleep, I'm telling you right now, is not the solution. So insomnia. Now, this is difficulty of falling asleep or staying asleep. Now, this affects 10 to 15% of the population. And chronic insomnia, you have a 2 to 3 times greater risk of dying. Sleep's when your body regenerates. You miss that regeneration cycle? Damn. Now, the average insomniac stays in bed 14 hours a day, but they are not sleeping. The causes, and let's look at the causes in detail. Stress, poor sleep environment, inconsistent sleep schedule, excessive stimulation before bedtime, sedentary lifestyle. Now, please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. It'll help us grow and spread this vital, life-saving information. Now, number one, address all the stressors. Improve your sleep environment. Sleep is your regeneration cycle. Keep a regular schedule. Now, for 21 days, we're going to talk about restricting your sleep to 6 hours a night and avoid excessive stimulation. Exercise regularly. Exercise is a vitamin. And deal with the emotion. Emotional freedom technique is excellent. Now, sleep deprivation is still one of the most common tortures. So, Purple Lion Project, I get it. You are being tortured. Up to 70 million Americans suffer from sleep deprivation. Now, over 9 million Americans are taking sleeping pills. Now, what happens? And now we have this autonomic nervous system. Every human being, you could be in stress, which is the sympathetic nervous system, or regeneration, which is parasympathetic. When you're in a chronic state of stress, you're looking at the stress hormones. So it elevates low-density lipoprotein. There's the cholesterol where ignorant doctors will call it bad, but it's really your body's response, an intelligent response to stress. It elevates blood sugar, shuts blood supply down to the gut. Long-term, depletes your body physically, mentally, weakens the immune system, higher disease rates. Now, lack of sleep has a cumulative effect on your body. Weakens your immune system, aggravates chronic pain, impairs your physical and mental performance, raises your blood pressure, alters hormone levels and metabolism, leads to brain shrinkage, literally prematurely ages you. Now, lack of sleep is increasing the risk of all diseases. Sleep is your regeneration cycle. You're missing this. So cardiovascular disease, diabetes, cancer, obesity, memory loss, Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, GI disorders, kidney, dementia, stomach ulcers, constipation, depression. Now, sleeping pills are not the answer. And look at the prescriptions. In 2001, 29 million prescriptions for sleep pills. By 2010, you're looking at 60 million prescriptions for sleeping. And this, I encourage you to go to the dark side of sleepingpills.com. If you're taking sleeping pills to get sleep, you get a 35% increase in cancer. You only sleep 13 minutes sooner, and you have 11 more minutes per night to get that chemically induced sleep. But if you're using sleeping pills, you die 4.6 times more often on average than patients who avoided sleeping pills. Suicide, it says it on the label. Accidental overdoses, cancer are not the most common ways in which sleeping pills kill, according to Daniel Kripke, MD. So the real questions when you're having insomnia is, what am I toxic with? What am I deficient in? And why do I have this symptom? Why do you have that? Now, you can take all the stressors in the world, boil them down to 3 categories: physical, chemical, and emotional. And we have to address all three of those. So the first thing, avoid. Now, this is the censored part. We can say vaccines. Okay. Look at all medications, find out why you're taking it. Look at the environmental toxins, non-organic or genetically modified organisms that people are calling food, nutritional deficiencies, and literally the chronic stress. Now, you have a normal, intelligent, adaptive stress response by the body. And this is huge. Now, any real or perceived stress affects every organ systems. You're looking at cardiovascular, skeletal, digestive, nervous system, pulmonary system, every system of the body involves in that. So in your perception of stress, people are always looking at thyroid function. They're looking at TSH, or thyroid stimulating hormone, excreted by the pituitary. And then this is going to activate the thyroid. But then the thyroid, T3 or T4 is converted to T3 in the liver. But the pituitary gets its information from the hypothalamus. That gets its information from the spinal cord. So position and motion are going to change that hypothalamic stimulation. So you're looking at everything. And every human being has this stress response. You could be in stress, which means you're running away from a tiger. So this shuts blood supply down to the gut. It weakens the immune system. It increases blood flow to the arms and legs. It increases blood sugar and helps you get away from danger. Not a good position to be in when you're trying to achieve sleep. Now, the body adapts to the hyperstimulation with the sympathetic dominant, and that means the fight or flight state. This means the digestive, reproductive, endocrine system. All the organs begin to break down because of lack of nutrients and blood flow. The adrenals become exhausted, and people call it adrenal fatigue, and eventually cortisol levels drop. Now, adrenals are the first order of the endocrine system to break down because of the chronic overuse, followed by insulin-producing organs of the pancreas, then thyroid, ovaries, parathyroid, pineal, pituitary, and finally, the autonomic nervous system and the hypothalamus. We've got to stop this. But what are the signs? Now, these are the warning labels, not the disease. Depression, memory loss, weakened immune system, all inflammatory conditions, because inflammation is a healing process of the body. It's not a dragon attacking you. Chronic fatigue, confusion, cognitive impairment, autoimmune diseases. Now, so what's the first step? Number one, we have to look at the nerve supply. When we break down the 5 keys to health, they are the 5 keys to health. A proper nerve supply. Now, every human being has this automatic nervous system. And you can see here in the x-rays, you've got a normal side view of the neck on the right. You have a reverse curve, loss of curve, degeneration, forward head carriage. You've got a bunch of stuff going on the x-ray on the left. This means you've got incorrect or abhorrent signals to that hypothalamus, putting that body under stress. Now, what chiropractors assess and correct is a vertebral subluxation. Subluxation is a bone that's misaligned in relationship to its juxtaposition in relationship to the vertebrae above and below. Sub means less. Lux is light. And shun is denoting a result. So this is a result of that less life force being able to flow down to the body. And this is the inability to, we used to call it the 3 T's, trauma, toxins, and thoughts. Now, first, you have a movement disorder, and that's the kinesiopathophysiology. This results in the nervous system adapting, so neuropathophysiology. Then the muscles adapt to that pathological input into the brain. And then if the muscles are in chronic spasm, you got a structural problem. And then this results in a histo, or the cells literally start to change to that stress adaptive response. And then you get the pathophysiologic. And this is literally the disease process that starts. And I love this definition of a subluxation. And it's a self-perpetuating central motor control problem that involves a joint, such as vertebral motion segment, that is not moving appropriately, resulting in ongoing maladaptive neuroplastic changes that interfere with the central nervous system's ability to self-regulate, self-organize, adapt, repair, and heal. Um, Huge, because the body is self-regulating. It is self-healing. And this is why when the doctor diagnoses you with high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, bowel disorders, anxiety, depression, this is literally your body's failure to adapt. Now, the benefits of chiropractic care, obviously, it can alleviate pain, boost productivity, improves quality of life, because we're restoring that nerve supply, that communication between the brain and the body, and that, and that body's communication back up to the brain. It reduces dependency on medication, improves quality of sleep, reduces stress, and boosts your immunity. And this is according to the Spine Journal, the Journal of Vertebral Subluxation Research, JMPT, everything. The journals agree. So how do you find a good chiropractor? Well, and it doesn't mean that what we do at our offices is good and what other people do is bad. This is just somebody using an objective analysis, an object to measure. Number one, are you taking an x-ray? Okay, some people to take an x-ray because they could bill your insurance. Others are looking to address and find that motion segment, that subluxation. Now, does the chiropractor use the x-rays to get listings off of it? And this is going to help to guide his adjustment procedures. And then, primary important, do you take a second x-ray to document that you fix the problems that you found on the first x-ray? Now, we have some programs that we're going to be doing post x-rays at 2 to 3 weeks, so we can document those structural changes. Now, are the treatment goals of the chiropractor to reshape and restore the natural curves, or are they just working with symptoms? And I always tell patients, symptoms are a fire alarm. They're not the problem. Now, are you familiar with correcting disc injuries? Because if you're doing pre and post x-rays, you know that you can take care of and address those herniated or slipped discs. Do you work on post-surgery patients with the high failure rate of spinal surgeries? This is the only option for those post-surgical patients. And then if you fuse a segment, the area above and below that segment have to move twice as much. So you have to address the altered biomechanics that were achieved during that surgery. And can you reverse arthritis? Because if you're doing pre and post x-rays, you're seeing arthritis reversal, and you're seeing the things called bone spurs start to go away. I mean, that's called Wolff's Law. Bones lay down where it's needed, resorb where it's not. Regular exercise. You have a hunter-gatherer body. You've got to move every joint every day. Like when mom said you only brush the teeth you want to keep, you only move the joints you want to keep. And what does regular exercise do? Well, number one, you get high quality sleep if you're moving your body throughout the day. It helps you maintain weight, lose or gain, whatever your body requires. It reduces your resistance to infections, improves brain function. This is why we give symmetrical exercises to everyone. Prevents and alleviates chronic pain, improves your emotional health. It literally exercises, reduces your risk of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, the three big that are killing our population. Now, I love this. The Journal of Alternative Complementary Medication and the Europe EPUB. Quote, emerging research is revealing that direct physical contact of the human body with the surface of the earth, grounding or earthing, has intriguing effects on human physiology and health, including beneficial effects on various cardiovascular risk factors. The study examined the effects of 2 hours of grounding on the electrical charge, the zeta potential, on red blood cells, and the effects on the extent of red blood cell clumping. This is huge. Figure your blood carries oxygen and nutrients and eliminate waste products, but those red blood cells have an electronegative charge. If they lose their electronegative charge because of sleep, then they start to overlap or stack. That means they lose the surface area. They lose their ability to carry the oxygen. And just walking for 2 hours on a grounded surface separates those red blood cells, so it makes the blood more efficient. This should be like mind-blowing. Here's another exercise, and this is an exercise we give to everybody. The breathing exercise. So number one, sit up nice and straight. You're going to put your tongue on the back of the teeth on the top of the mouth, and you're going to breathe in through the nose. Now, in through the nose, the air goes by the mucous membranes, and this creates nitric oxide. Nasal breathing. And this creates that nitric oxide, which bronchodilates and vasodilates. That means it opens up the air tubes and the blood vessels. And then you're going to breathe in through a count of 4, and your tummy is going to be filling up with air. So we're diaphragmatic breathing. And then you hold your breath for a count of 7, and then you breathe out twice as long as you breathe in, down to a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're going to see when I teach people this breathing exercise, I'll see a variety of responses. Some people go, no, you're not blowing out candles. So you need that whoosh sound when you're breathing out. And repeat this cycle 3 to 4 times. So it's going to look like, so you keep doing this exercise 3 to 4 times, and it's going to oxygenate the system and calm your system down. Amazing, amazing. Because when you're breathing, you're eliminating carbon dioxide and you're eliminating all the waste products that come out. This is why those masks were so horrible. And so by doing this, you're alkalinizing the system. Breathing is one of the greatest exercises you can do every day. I tell 10 people to do this exercise 10 times every hour. How does breathing affect your health? Well, number one, it reduces mental and physical fatigue. That's why I teach the doctors when they're taking the boards, do the breathing exercises. Okay, this improves blood circulation and cell oxygenation, stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the resting, digesting, and repairing nervous system. Breathing acts as a pump. That's why the diaphragm is above all your intestinal organs. And your intestine is your immune system, how you produce tissue. So it's tissue production. It's literally brain function that's called a gut brain. So this is affecting everything. The action of your diaphragm helps push lymph through your body, which helps eliminate toxic waste and strengthens your immune system. Toxic CO2 waste is eliminated directly through breathing. Just breathing is a good exercise. Now, proper nutrition. Remember, you have a hunter-gatherer body. This body hasn't really changed in thousands of years. So proper nutrition. And I tell all my patients, your diet's going to be like your great-great-great-grandparents. Why? Because what do they eat? They ate only organic. They ate local. They ate seasonal. Okay, just what your body is designed. They used healthy fats, olive oil, coconut oil, grass-fed butter, fermented veggies so you can build that gut flora, probiotics so you can create the environment for healthy bacteria, juiced vegetables, blended fruits, raw dairy, and reduce omega-6 and increase omega-3 animal fats. The diet is simple, just like what your great-great-grandparents went. Now, sufficient rest. How do you achieve it? How do you hit that reset button? Now, a circadian rhythm, just like all animal species on the planet, every human being has this natural circadian rhythm. Just like some plants open in the day, some plants close at night. Some plants close during the day. Now, the circadian rhythm coordinates your biology with the changes in the day and night light cycle, and it promotes daily sleep at night. Industrialization, artificial lights have altered sleep habits in the last 100 years. The clock is reset as the body senses environmental time cues. So primary cue is light. A healthy adult and trained to the sun will fall asleep within a few hours after sunset, experience body temperatures minimum at 6 a.m., and wake up a few hours after sunrise. That's ideal. So now you look at sleep as the most important part of your day. This is when your body regenerates. This is the regeneration cycle. So number one thing, journaling before bed. And I don't want you to do a lot, just a half page. And you're only going to write down 3 things: what you did that day, what you're going to do the next day, and any emotionally charged event. Now, this works on my patients who have like Parkinson's and MS. You can't read what they're writing, but the fact they're thinking a thought, putting a mark on a paper, calms that subconscious. Then read a book 15 minutes before bed, but it's got to be a boring book. And this helps hold it, and rhythmic motion of the eyes. No electronic devices. Electronic devices do 2 things. One, we're going to go over what the blue light does. It interrupts melatonin. But the big thing is by staring at a computer screen, iPhone, iPad, all of that stuff. This puts your brain in a beta wave state where you can't achieve those deep sleeps. So no electronics before bed. And the book has got to be kind of boring. So I say, look, if you got a Bible, read the book of Numbers, okay? Because there's a lot of parts of the Bible, a lot of parts of the Bhagavad Gita that are super exciting. You don't want to put it down. So you need that rhythmic motion and something that calm the brain down. Then you have to have nightshades, eye coverings. I love manta eye shades. They're the best, but you need something that you can open and close your eyes when they're there, because your body is going to go through these 90-minute cycles called rapid eye movement, or REM state of sleep. And this is when your body is in a virtual coma. 100% of your energy is going to regeneration. When you complete that cycle, your eyes open, then they close. And if there's enough light to see your hand in front of your face, bam, that fight or flight system kicks up. And then you got to get up to pee or roll over because you're uncomfortable. Then we're going to restrict your sleep. And just like all human beings, we have a circadian rhythm. So ideally, if you're in bed at 10 to 10:30 and get out of bed at 4 to 4:30, but you got to prepare your mind for sleep. That's the journaling and reading. So it's just like stretching before a run. Now, if you're doing this, you're going to bed at 10 to 10:30, out of bed at 4 to 4:30. Realize that lack of sleep during the sleep restrictive therapy, lack of sleep has a similar effect as alcohol. So your reaction time is going to be impaired. So adjust your lifestyle accordingly. But within 5 days, you're going to be sleeping through the night. But it's like baking cookies. You can't leave an ingredient out. So you journal, you read, calming that brain down. A paper book, 15 minutes before bed. You put the eye coverings on. Go to bed at 10 to 10:30, out of bed at 4 to 4:30. No naps throughout the day. And so this is hard. This is changing a habit pattern that you've developed over the years. And changing habits is difficult. But you maintain this pattern for 21 days. After 21 days, for the rest of your life, you know that the human body optimal performance is 6.5 to 7.5 hours of sleep. There's high disease rates if you're sleeping 9 hours or more, 5 hours or less. So literally this sleep restrictive therapy, for the first 21 days, you're resetting habit patterns. And then after 21 days, for the rest of your life, you look at sleep has the most important part of your day. This is the regeneration cycle. But you're going to sleep until 5:30. You're going to get that next hour. You're going to be lazy. Now, ideally, you're getting 4 to 5 periods of REM state, or rapid eye movement. And that's every night. Now, this is going to be hallucinatory and bizarre content. This is when you're dreaming. The amount of REM sleep can vary on age. Now, newborns are spending 80% of their time in REM. Why? Because this is the regeneration cycle. What's a newborn got to do? They got to grow a whole body. Now, the average adult, through our habits, only spending 20 to 25% in that regenerative cycle. Now, this is interesting. The on-off switch. There's an abundance of neurotransmitters called acetylcholine. Now, this activates the REM neurons. Now, there must be an absence of monoamine neurotransmitters. And histamine, serotonin, dopamine, adrenaline, melatonin. We're going to get into melatonin and norepinephrine. Serotonin, adrenaline, these all switch REMs off. Now, melatonin, it's a hormone that anticipates daily onset of darkness. And now it's used to reset the circadian clock. Now, understand melatonin does not induce sleep, and melatonin decreases with age. But melatonin, absolutely, it doesn't cause you to be sleepy, but it helps with the REM. Even exposure to small amounts of light can suppress melatonin excretion. Blue light has the strongest effect, and that's every video, TV, iPad, iPhone, everything. You cannot have that type of exposure before bed. So natural solutions, cherries, bananas, pineapples, oranges, grapefruits, plums, olive oil, wine and beer to a limited amount, okay? These are natural sources of melatonin. If you're drinking alcohol to fall asleep, again, you're also going to have a tough time. So we're talking moderation. And now blue light can boost attention and reaction time and mood during the day, but it can disrupt that natural circadian rhythm even during the evening. And it suppresses melatonin. and blue light exposure starts to negatively affect you immediately. So, what are the solutions? Use dim red lights for night lights. Red light has the least amount of power to shift circadian rhythm and suppress melatonin. Avoid looking at bright screens 2 to 3 hours before bed. Use the blue blocking glasses. Now, exposure to sunlight or full spectrum fluorescent bulbs increases melatonin naturally. That's why we have full spectrum lights in all my clinics. Exposure of at least 30 minutes of sunlight per day, absolutely vital. This is why we talk about red light therapy is so important. It boosts your ability to sleep at night, improves your mood, alertness during the day. So let's use sunlight and red light therapy as the key to reset that circadian rhythm. According to Stephen Lockley, Harvard research, a mere 8 lux of light, a level of brightness exceeded by most table lamps, is about twice that of a nightlight and has an effect on sleep. So light is super important. According to Harvard Medical School, light at night throws the body's biologic clock and the circadian rhythm out of whack. Research shows that it may contribute to the causation of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and obesity. Again, those are the main things that our population is suffering from now. So the do's and don'ts. Here's the don'ts. And no stimulating or stressful activity before bedtime. No stimulants like caffeine, no dark chocolate. Again, dark chocolate contain high levels of caffeine. No alcohol. This disrupts REM. Avoid spicy foods before bed. Avoid blue light exposure 2 to 3 hours before bed. No fluids within 2 hours of bedtime. Avoid grains and sugars. Your body can break that down into energy quick. No work 2 to 3 hours before bed. Again, that's going to quiet the mind and reduce or eliminate all the medications. Find out why you're taking it. Why are you taking those medications? And if your doctor isn't going to help you, find a doctor that will help and show you why you're taking them. Now, what you can do, get that parasympathetic nervous system freed of interference. I mean, obviously, you got to look at the structure. That's the physical stressors. Keep a regular sleep schedule and be consistent. Establish a routine. And when you start to incorporate this, the meditation, the deep breathing, aromatherapy, this will improve your sleep environment. No noise, no light. Exercise regularly. Have the room temperature about 70 degrees, about 21 degrees Celsius. Room temperature no higher than 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Eliminate the electromagnetic fields, and get a test to see if you are exposed to that, particularly the 5G that's being distributed. Eliminate alarm clocks if you can. Reserve your bed for sleeping. So sleep is the most important part of your day. Prioritize it. Eat a high-protein snack several hours before bedtime. This will provide tryptophan for melatonin and serotonin. Eat a small piece of fruit, okay, and this helps the tryptophan cross the blood-brain barrier. A hot bath before bed. You have to wear an eye mask or it has to be so dark you can't see your hand in front of your face. Listen to relaxing audio or white noise. White noise set at 528 hertz is the best. But if you're going to put white noise on a machine like this, the iPhone, okay, make sure it's more than a meter away from your head to reduce the electromagnetic fields. Journal before bed. You write down what you did that day, what you're going to do the next day in an emotionally charged event, and read something boring 30 minutes before bed. Then prayer and meditation. Oh my gosh. And when you look at this, even the CDC says 85% of all disease is caused by emotion, and up to 90% of doctored visits in the USA may be triggered by a stress-related illness. No kidding. Now, how do you deal with this? Number one, daily prayer and meditation. Daily prayer and meditation. Get in that. Have a relationship with God. And if you don't understand that, or you have a different belief system, then meditation. Neurolinguistic programming. I love daily affirmations, the I am statements. I am healthy. I'm dynamic. I'm vibrant. I'm strong. I'm healed. Those over and over. So you're reprogramming that brain from stress into vital force life energy. Emotional freedom technique is great. The DeMartini method, breakthrough process is brilliant. Practice visualization. So when you're Deep breathing and calming down and relaxing. Visualize those moments of joy that you've had in your life. And it could be anything, and let your mind bounce around through. It could be the birthday party that your mom gave you when you were 5. That's one of the areas I go to. It could be water skiing when you were a teenager. It could be enjoying life, laying down on the grass, looking up, but visualize those moments of incredible joy. And you're going to start to reprogram that brain to moments of joy and not stress. And I loved this quote by Thomas Edison. The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, in diet, and the cause and prevention of disease. Thomas Edison, brilliant. And that's what we're doing. That's what you have to do. Now, please, please put your comments below. We're going to get to as many as we can. Share this, and this is incredible. If your sleep is interrupted, your body's ability to regenerate is interrupted. Now that we're gathering as many questions as we can, and we'll answer them next week. I love this. Strud Aluda. The body's a temple, but only if you treat it as one. You were built for this world. The world was built for you. God bless you all. Thank you.